Hi and welcome to another video. In this video I just wanted to go through the update of the firmware and maps to the latest versions that are out there. So if you're anything like me, I've got a 2020 Hyundai Ioniq EV, so it's totally electric. And since I bought it, I've just realized that when I've looked at the version of the software within the settings on the navigation unit, actually my software and maps is from 2019. So even though I've got a 2020 car, it's got older software. And I've just been looking around as I've just had my first service for the car, and I've realized that the dealership hasn't updated the software like I thought would be part of their process. So I've had a look, and you can actually update the software yourself to the latest version of the maps and also the actual software that actually runs on the head unit for the Ioniq. So I just wanted to go through the steps that you have to do. It's quite fairly straightforward, but again there is some risks again that you might brick your head unit. So only do this after you've read the full instructions and you do actually feel comfortable doing it like this. If not, I'm sure if you ring your Hyundai, your main dealership, they'll probably try and update it for you. I found the best resource and information was within the forum. So we've got the Ioniq forum here. So as you can see here, there's some really good information and update posts and things like that, and then also there's always updated firmware and the software for almost Hyundai cars. One update does automatically recognize what model you have and what version. So if it's the plug-in hybrid or the petrol or the full EV, normally one file updates them all. There is some variations, of course, so I would do advise you to go to the Ioniq forum, and you can have a look there to see what the latest version is of the actual software. So as you can see here, I'll leave the link for the forum in the description so you can go through and have a look yourself and have a look at the posts. But as of today of recording, the current updated version is actually for Europe. The official version for our widescreen Ioniq EV 2020 is currently the May version. There is a new June version out, but that one is actually for Russia, and even though I believe they're the same versions as the European, I prefer just to stick to the proper official Euro version, even though we're in UK, and update it with that. So the latest version of that is the May version 2021. As I said, means my one is several years out of date. So I would have thought that at least they would have installed some newer versions on there when it came out of the factory, or before they delivered it in 2020, but they obviously didn't. So now we're just going to have a look to see once you've gone here. So I advise, as I said, it's May version that is currently as of today's date. But again, if you've seen this video in the future, then it's best to go to this forum and look for the posts, and you obviously clearly see the newest version there for you, and you can download that version. So once you've downloaded the version of the link, so I've downloaded it onto my PC. You can download it onto your Apple Mac as well, if you want to. So you will need quite a big USB stick. So most of mine are only 16 gigs, but the actual file when you download it, you'll see is around between 23 and 26 gigabytes. So the file is quite large. So just be prepared for if you haven't got a very fast internet connection, that it will take a while to download. So once it's downloaded, what you'll have to do is make sure that you've got a USB drive big enough. So lucky enough, I found a 125 gigabyte USB drive I've got. You can probably get one quite cheap off Amazon or eBay or anything like that. And as I said, the file is 23, so as long as it's probably 32 or bigger, then you'll be fine. So what you have to make sure to do is, as I've got here, my USB drive has to be in the format of FAT32. So normally Windows 10 would do it as a format of NTFS or exFAT, and on your Apple Mac they might do a different version as well format. So when you do come to format the disk, the new USB drive, make sure that you choose it as FAT32, just like I've got here on the USB drive. So as I close that now, so you can see here in this window is empty, so this is my newly formatted and so it has nothing on it USB drive, and it's in that FAT32 format. So we've got here the file that I've downloaded, as I said. So this one here is Gen 5 and it's wide, so it's the wide screen. So that's what's been in my previous videos. So if you do want to have a look at the infotainment system, then you can look at my previous, I've got a playlist videos all going through the details of the Ioniq 2020 EV. So now we just need to decompress this file, and it's best to just right click on it, extract all, and then just choose where you want to do. So we want to choose, and then you want to extract it straight to the USB drive. So as you can see here, I just select new volume. So that's the name of my G drive, so that's the name of the USB, select folder, and then you just want to extract. It may take a while because, as we said, it is quite a large file, and depending on the speed of your USB drive as well, but most are USB 3 drives, so it should be quite quick. So I'll just quickly speed up this process and then we'll come back. So as we can see, it's nearly decompressed all the files now needed onto the USB drive. So what we'll do next, once it's finished, is just eject the USB drive, and now we'll move on to actually inserting the USB drive into the USB port within the infotainment system within the car. So now we've moved on to the infotainment in the car. I just wanted to quickly show you how to access what version you're actually got installed currently. So you need to go into your setup or settings screen, as you can see here, then go into general and then into system info, and then you go to version info or update, as you see here. So if you just click this one here, then it will show you the software, the firmware, the nav app, map, and then your device ID. So that's specific to your device. So you can see here the actual different versions here of the software. And as you can see here, mine ends in 190630. And from doing some research and reading up in the forums, it looks like this actually stands for the date. So actually my one is quite a few years out of date. So as you can see, mine is actually the 30th of the 6th, 2019. So it is a quite considerably out of date software, and the firmware is as well. So it must have been a lot of different features. I've changed it to use this 32 gig with USB drive from SanDisk because it's the most reliable one I've got. So I've installed, extracted, as you saw before, the software onto that, and just make sure that you use FAT32 format. So now I've inserted it into the actual USB drive below the infotainment system, and you can see here, if you just click on the prompts to update, it's going to start validating now all the files. This process took around 20-25 minutes in all. It does say the whole process takes 32 minutes. But I think the overall process for me took around 45 minutes. So just be aware again that this will take a considerable amount of time, so you don't want to be driving or any using the vehicle at the time. So make sure it's when you do decide to do this, is that you've made time for it just to stay wherever it is parked up, and so you don't have to move it or anything like that, or switch on the sat nav, anything like that. So yeah, so we'll just skip through this and we'll go on to the next step. So you can see now that it's moved on to the second stage of verifying and updating. So it's got two stages. The first one I believe it must be for the sat nav, and then the infotainment main options, because that does take a considerable amount of time. That section actually took around over 25 minutes. This bit, as I've sped up, so it makes it look quicker, but actually still took about a quarter of the time to do this last section here, and it was much quicker. So again, it just goes through the updating and everything else, and then once it's finished, this should then restart your sat nav, so you won't have to do anything, and you'll see the new screen straight away. So as you can see, it goes quite quick, and I have sped this up, but this process is a quarter of the time as the other one. Just remember just to allocate, like I said before, some time, at least 45 minutes an hour, so you're not going to move the car or do anything. So it's nearly finished now, and as you can see, it's restarted, and you can see here that I like the new screen now. So the new options is you have driver 1, 2 and guest. So you can see you've got profiles now. So you can set them up for customization. So if you've got you and your partner, and then a guest, so if you want someone else to drive it, you can have it on guest. But driver 1 can have all their customizations for the radio, sat nav and things like that, and then you've got another one for 2, so you don't have to keep changing through. All you'll have to do is to start accessing it, you'll be able to just select the different option for profiles. But as you can see, this is the new welcome screen. It's got the time in the top and the date, and top right hand corner the weather, the radio, and as I said, at the top left hand corner you've got the guest and what actual name of the profile you've got selected currently. So mine's still initiating, and again, just give it a few minutes for it to load up properly and everything else. So you just got to give it a bit of time before you start switching everything on, just to let it update. As we said, this is like 26 gigabyte file, so it is quite fast actually, much considerably faster than I thought it would be in the process. So as you can see here, if you click on guest, you can actually change the user there, so you can click on that. So this is like the welcome screen is when you start it up. So I really do like the layout now they've got here. It's much more modern, so it's good to see up there. And you can see the icons as well have all gone blue and 3D, so it's really nice. And they've got a valet mode now, so it seems to be another option you've got. So you can see you've got notices, manual, and the Hyundai Live that we had before. So we go back into settings and general, you'll be able to see here the actual version info and update, and that comes up straight away now, and you can see the format has changed. So I think it's actually much clearer now, this update, and of course this is the latest for my Gen 5, and I've got a Hyundai Ioniq 2020, or it comes under 2019 because it had that software on it. So as you can see here, you've got system info for the memory, and then back here, so you can scroll down and you can see all the information we had before in the beginning of the video, and you can see the map versions, the software versions. So it's really good to see these latest updates, and you can see all the 3Ds options. I do like the icons and the new layout, and it seems to be there's new features like a calendar you can now attach to it. So it's really good. So if you do want to see another video on all the new features it's added, as well as within the Blue Link app for Hyundai on your phone, then just let me know. Okay, thanks for watching.